Yo, what's going on, gang? We got webcam off today. I wanted to cover everything we kind of reviewed yesterday. Um, I'm starting to notice the trend at this point, like with where we're at in COD. Obviously, with season one, we got a lot of like really good new content, and that's not to state that we're not getting like stuff that's not new now. I mean, we're getting Lifeline Bounty and Dealership, new maps, stuff like that. We're getting some like reoccurring guns, which seems to happen every year. And then we're getting stuff like Grind, which I feel like they add these maps to like kind of surge the player base. I feel like these maps are added almost to up the hype. Like everyone's like, oh my god, Grind's back, you know? Even though it's just a multiplayer thing, it still happens. And I feel like they can't like continue to grow the game bigger than what it is on reoccurring hype, you know, like it has to be new and it has to be gas. And one thing you'll notice, like you look at these maps right here, like we can actually go in depth and really look at these maps. But if you look at how grind, like what grind is, like it is a skate park, like how unique that actually is. Like no wonder it was a smash, like no wonder it was an actual hit. It's unique, it's fun, it's not something like super serious. And then you're thinking like a car dealership or like Bounty, it's like a bank, like that's not legit, bro. Lifeline's probably going to be a fun strike map. It's probably going to be similar to Hijack. But we noticed this trend, and Treyarch's usually the best about it, being the most creative with their maps. But the maps that always seem to stick around the longest are always the more lighthearted or more fun maps. Like I believe Firing Range was super popular because it's essentially just a paintball course. I mean, it's a target range, obviously a training range, but it's laid out like a paintball course. And Grind, again, it's skate park. Hijack, it's a yacht. You know, these certain maps that really stay in your core memory, I feel like, are very creative and very unique, and I feel like that's what really keeps people going. Another thing too, I gotta mention, like obviously Caldera flopped on Warzone. I preferred Caldera over Urzikstan or like Al Mazrah, like for sure. I think the desert style Warzone maps are utter failures. Like I think everything about the architecture, the layout, I don't think people enjoy that, and I think that's like tried and true at this point. I think the most successful Warzone maps have always been the more vibrant, and that's another thing you kind of see here. Like you see these lower, warmer shades, and then you get over to Grind, it's like the super vibrant, there's colors all everywhere. I mean, that makes a difference. Like vibrancy makes a difference. If you don't believe that, you look at a game like Fortnite, where that's their selling point, is how colorful and vibrant. And I feel like COD's losing creativity. Not necessarily with new content, but just the content itself. I think the rank play camos for season 2, I think that's awesome. Like that's what I'm talking about. Stuff that's going to be a little more memorable. Like right here we got their leopard, a cheetah prince, whatever. It's just different. Like that's huge, you know? We don't want the same thing over and over and over. It's stuff that's going to stick. Like for instance, the PPSH coming back, like, oh, it's nostalgic, it's cool. Make up something new, man. Make something new and something, do a twist on the PPSH that's super modern and looks crazy, you know? It's just, it's weird to like keep getting these reoccurring items. Like they're just so washed. You know, especially if we're talking Warzone. Like if we're talking Warzone, we have 3 years worth of guns piled up. That's like as washed as it could possibly get. You know, I feel like they need to be creative in every aspect they do. And one thing I think, if we're talking about the last like 4 years of COD, you know, like it's been pretty dull. Obviously, Treyarch got a 4-year break. This is the longest developed COD ever. And I honestly think the only thing that really benefit from the break, other than the movement mechanics, is zombies. The zombie maps have been lights out. Every single one of them have been phenomenal. Terminus is great, Liberty Falls is great, Citadel Daymore was phenomenal, and the Tomb looks incredible. These are the creative aspects that we're seeing that makes it so great. Now, the swords were really, really cool. That was unique. I like that we had like these elemental swords coming back. The ice staff, you know, like it's cool, a little lackluster. I wish it was all the elemental staffs, but not necessarily. It's just this aspect of COD. It makes me wonder how much longer can they go without this level of creativity that we see in, you know, stuff like Grind or Warzone maps like Caldera or even Verdansk, you know? Just stuff that's different, stuff that's more colorful, and stuff that's gonna last. I feel like they hit the nail on the head on a recipe that works, you know, and they change it up too much. The only thing I can compare that to with a game that's still successful, like Fortnite, obviously Fortnite OG's back. You have the original Fortnite map, but even when the map changed, it was still relatively the same map. Like it, obviously POIs change and the map layout changes, but it's the same. It's big, luscious green hills. It's colorful. Like they never said, let's get rid of all the color. Like it's always been a colorful game. Like they gotta capitalize on that. I think they fall into this pit of like this false hope of realism, and that never sells in this franchise. It's an arcade franchise. It's not Battlefield. Like there's a reason COD outsells Battlefield, and it's not for realism. I'll tell you that right now. Like there's plenty of games you can play for the realism, and COD's not one of them. And it shouldn't be geared to be one of them. COD should be an arcadey, fun, colorful FPS. And I think the further they stray away from that, the further the game's going to be. We have 3 days until this DLC drops. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see how it feels. We got a bunch of really big changes coming. I don't think the game itself has too many problems other than the cheating epidemic in COD. I mean, that's horrible. That's going to be fixed. You know, I feel optimistic with that. But I think the biggest thing the game lacks as of, you know, lately in the past few years is going to be creativity. And Treyarch's usually the creative group, so hopefully they can come through. But gang, listen, if you're new to the channel and enjoy the content, man, hit that sub button, crush that like, and I will catch you all tomorrow for another heater. Let's get it, gang.